see a deadly sin. So everybody around the world, if y'all doing the show, y'all better be ready and be prepared for the deadly sins.
All right, speaking of the deadly sins, what's next for the deadly sins?
The deadly sins is going to basically say all, do all, take over everything. So be ready for everything.
All right, now recently I saw you hanging out with Billy. What's going on there?
Man, you know, me and Billy, we go way back. We're
see.
friends, you know. Like I said, he's one of us. He's a deadly sin. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You have to pay close attention to your surroundings.
Okay, all right. Tell everybody where they can follow you.
Look, you can follow me on every platform. All they have to do is put down Frankie Picard. And if you want to follow the Deadly Sins, you can put down Frankie Picard, just saying, Adam Mace, Blocks. I mean, it's too many of us. I mean, even Billy.
There's a lot.
Exactly.
I'm not wearing earplugs, so take it easy on me.
Okay.
You're facing the Cotton Candy Princess herself, Tiffany Avatar, title.
Best friend. My best friend.
So what are your thoughts going into this match?
What happened the last time?
You messed her, you fucked her up.
I did. Real good.
Are we gonna expect more of the same?
What?
Are we gonna expect more of the same?
Oh, of course. What else would it be?
All right, did you take your medicine today?
No?
I could tell. All right, you better get back and sell your mirth.
Okay.
Definitely got to invest in some earbuds.
I just want to say that was super rude of you to walk away from me earlier.
Talking to the New York State champion, you're going to have to pay up.
Do you take kale?
Dude, goodbye.
Whip wreck, Cation, doesn't matter.
We'll see what happens, but it looks like we have a special guest.
Get my earplugs on.
No.
You was looking for Tina, and then you talk about people.
Dominate tonight, all right? The Dirty Deeds, they got nothing.
We're now the new Starlet champion. What's going on?
Hi, I am fearless princess, so why not team up?
All right, now just announced by Mr. Joel Maximo for February.
It's called the Shadow Ban, and I was like, that's kind of.
Hold on. Let me speak. Okay?
But today I got a very special guest. I got the great. Welcome to Beyond the Barricade. I'm your host, Papa Denk, and today I got a very special guest from SICW. Now, everybody knows that the Papa Denk commercial runs on at SICW Wrestling on their YouTube channel. Well, I have a close friendship with Mr. Herb Simmons, the owner of SICW, and tonight I have someone from SICW who may have some sinister plans for it. So let me bring to you, without further ado, the one, the only, Stephen E. How you doing tonight, Stephen?
Papa Dink, I am doing
Denk.
fantastic.
It's
Dink, whatever. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that you are a lucky man, my friend. You are lucky. Let me explain to you why you're lucky. Because I could be anywhere in the world right now, anywhere in the world, and I'm right here. I'm right here on your podcast with you, Papa Dank.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about your plan. Your first of all, what you do at SICW, and what kind of plans do you have in place for it?
Well, I am Stephen E., and I am the leader of Devastation Incorporated. And Devastation Incorporated is a faction that goes back many years. The history with Devastation Incorporated and professional wrestling is second to none. Herb, I see what you said, and that is downright disrespectful. And I'm going to get to you here in a little bit, but I want to explain who I am and what I do in SICW. Who I am is Stephen E. What I do in SICW is I am the leader of Devastation Incorporated. Now, Devastation Incorporated, it consists of Attila Khan, the international bounty hunter, right? You've got Peyton Ayers. You've got the Uber Destroyer. And we just introduced this past weekend, Lilith Khan. Oh, it was fantastic, Papa.
Lilith Khan.
Oh,
thank
man.
Yep.
6'6". She is a monster. She is an exotic beauty from the mountains of Mongolia, and it just doesn't get any better than what happened on Saturday. We are leveling the playing field in SICW. Anybody who wants to step to me and say something to me, now you're going to have to either tell it to Attila or you're going to have to tell it to Lilith. If you're a female and you want to step to me, then you're going to deal with Lilith. If you're a male, you want something from me, you're going to have to go through Attila or Peyton Ayers or Uber Destroyer. Or heck, I might even bring back Derek Stone. You never know.
Sounds like you got quite the little group there. Now, what are your plans for SICW? I heard some rumblings that you're trying to buy it.
I am not trying to buy it. I'm not trying to buy it. I will purchase it. I have already been in contact with attorneys. I have been in contact with my investors. I have been in contact with everybody. The only person that will not pick up the phone and talk to me about this is Herb Simmons, and it's disgusting. I'm starting to think that I might be discriminated against.
Why do you feel you're being discriminated against?
I don't know. I have no idea. I wish I did know, because if I did know, then it would make a little bit more sense. But let me tell you something. I put a big number in front of Herb Simmons to take that promotion from him and to let him ride off into the sunset. And what has he done? For the past 5 months, he's ignored me. He's ignored my phone calls. He's ignored my emails. He has just outright ignored me. And it's not going to, it's ridiculous. The Federal Trade Commission will have to step in on this, I believe.
You really think they will step in?
I absolutely think they will step in, because once they see what's going on, you know, at the end of the day, America is you got to be fair. You got to be fair. I have the money to purchase SICW. He may not like what I want to do with it, but it doesn't matter. Once I sign the check and I pass it over to him, he can go sit on a beach and he can drink, you know, fruity drinks with a little umbrella in it or something. I don't care what he does. All he needs to do is just go. And let me just take SICW to the next level. I told the people down there at SICW what I want to do. I can't stand that guy. Absolutely. I'm not even going to acknowledge that guy. I can't stand him. Okay. But what I want to do is I want to take SICW to the next level. I want to make it global. I want to take it over to Riyadh. I want to take it to Saudi Arabia, because my investors are from Saudi Arabia, and my investors, what they want, they get. And they want SICW. Everybody remembers it wasn't but a year ago that there was a big company out of Connecticut that there were rumors and whatnot about being sold to the Saudis. Well, guess what, pal? You know, they don't want Connecticut. They want Illinois. They want Southern Illinois, and they're going to get it.
Okay. This guy says that it's called investment fraud.
Yeah.
Yikes. All right. Let's go into, before we continue, let's talk about FanFest 2. No. Tell me how excited you are for FanFest 2.
I am ecstatic for FanFest 2. Not only will I be there, but the whole crew will be there. All of Devastation Incorporated will be there. And guess what? Guess what, Papa Dank? The International Bounty Hunter Attila Khan has already put himself in the Bruiser Broder Memorial Battle Royal.
Wow.
He wants to win that. He has climbed every mountain that there is to climb in the world of professional wrestling, and he wants that Bruiser Brody Memorial Trophy. And nothing's going to stop him from getting it.
Now that's a big deal, that Bruiser Brody Memorial.
Oh, absolutely. Once we win, you know, because Attila's Devastation Incorporated, and when Attila wins, we win. Once we win, Barbara Goodish, which is Bruiser Brody's wife, right? Everybody knows that, is going to get up and present that trophy to us, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We are going to see so much satisfaction. It's going to give us so much pleasure to receive that trophy from her and to be able to carry that to the ring for the next year and then possibly 2 years.
Wow. Okay. Maybe I could get all of you guys together on my new show, Papa Dank Vlogs, debuting at FanFest 2.
Yeah, well, you know, if you're lucky, you know, I'll be honest with you, Papa Dink. The only reason why I'm here today is because I'm contractually obligated. That's it. So this is it for your podcast, my friend. Once I'm done with this, my contract's been lived up to, and I don't have to come on here and talk to you anymore. So I don't know. We'll see how I feel at the Fan Fest. We're still a couple of weeks away.
We'll see what happens. Herb Simmons says he's counting his eggs before they are hatched.
You know, it's funny. It's funny that Herb is using this platform to communicate with me when I have sent him emails, countless emails, over 100 emails.
He's a good friend of mine.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding. Obviously, he's commenting in my chat, sir.
He might be a good friend of yours, but I have the money. And money makes the world go round. Papa, have you ever heard the phrase, he who has the money has the power, and he who has the power makes the rules? That's what I do. I make the rules. I have the power because I have the money.
Okay, well, I mean, Herb's got plenty of money himself, though.
Yeah, well, you can never have enough money. People who say that money doesn't make you happy just don't have money, and that's a shame. They'll never understand what it feels like to be able to just drop everything at the hat of a dime and just head off to Florida, or or go to the West Coast and enjoy the beautiful weather. Instead they just rather sit here and get snowed on and rained on and tornadoes and all that other crap.
You see, I'm the negotiator tonight, there, Stephen.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, since Herb won't have anything to do with me, maybe I could put you on a contract so you could be my negotiator. How about that, Papa? What do you think?
I mean, if the money's right and the situation's right,
Hey,
I'll do what's best for Herb.
You'll do what's best for business, and what's best for business is to convince Herb to sell SICW to me. Shut your mouth, Aaron Wallace. Don't you even talk to me.
AJ doesn't think you have any money to buy SICW.
Jeez.
He watches court shows.
Yikes.
All right.
Sick to my stomach. You talk about money, Aaron. I want you to look at that right there, my friend. Look at that right there. Look at these right here, huh? Look at those, Jack. Those right there. Do you want to get a better look?
Let me see.
They are gold ounces. These right here.
Does that say 10 carat?
No, absolutely
no?
not. 24 carat, 999.
I thought I saw 10.
31.1 grams, if you need to know.
All right, let's go into how you started managing. Let's go back in time a little bit. How did Stephen E. start managing?
Well, I tell you what, back in 98, 99, I went to a little rinky-dink wrestling show that I was way too good to even be at, but I went anyways and showed up at this wrestling show and rubbed elbows with somebody that I didn't necessarily like, but I thought, well, heck, this guy could get me into the business. His name was the Space Cowboy, Jason Jones. So, I started working with Jason Jones and training with Jason Jones. He's known as the Space Cowboy, the hardest working man in professional wrestling. A lot of people in the Midwest know him. He's a very well-respected man. But he took me under his wing and did some training and started working some shows about 8 months later, a year later. And when I started working the shows, I was working as a ring announcer. And I did I was ring announcing for probably 2-3 years. In 2002, a promoter came up to me after an NWA Midwest show in Coffeyville, Kansas, of all places. Comes up to me and says, "Hey, we really like what you're doing. We want you to be a commissioner or a general manager of some sort." And so I was off and running at that point. That's where the Stephen E. character kind of got developed. And what we see today is just the evolution of that character, 25 years later or 22 years later.
Okay. Herb says, Jason Jones, one tough individual. Watch what you're saying about him.
For over 20 years, I was an undefeated wrestler, right? I was a former Mid-States Wrestling heavyweight champion, okay? I got into an automobile accident, and that title was stripped from me. It was forcefully stripped from me. I never lost that championship. So I always went around and I told everybody, I said, I am an undefeated former Mid-States heavyweight champion. They would ask me how, and I would explain it to them or whatever. But for 22 years, I was an undefeated wrestler. And November 12th of 2022, Jason Jones and me met in Springfield. I was bamboozled into a street fight in Springfield, Missouri. It was a Springfield street fight of all things. And, I lost. I'm not going to say that makes me sick. I can't. I'm almost going to have you turn these comments off because my blood pressure is going to shoot through the roof.
We don't want your blood pressure to shoot through the roof. Continue your story.
And anyways, I'm done with that story. Nobody wants to hear that. The only thing that people want to hear about is when I purchase SICW, what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do, Papa Dank. I'm going to add more cameras. We're going to become a global phenomenon. We're going to put more cameras, right? We're going to have smoke. We're going to have lights. We're going to have lasers. Unfortunately, with all those upgrades, we're going to have to raise the ticket prices. And I know that that is a soft spot right now for a lot of people because of what's going on with the economy and everything like that. But when you come to SICW, you're going to see a completely different product, one that's going to be put on by me and my Saudi investors, and it's going to be so fantastic. It's going to be great. Herb, like I said before, just take the check, go down to Florida, go down to Bermuda, hang out with your buddy JBL, go down to the Bahamas. I don't care where you go. Just go. Just go. There's a couple of things that I want to do once I take over SICW. I talked about the smoke and the cameras and all that stuff. One of the first things that I'm going to do is I'm going to ban AJ Wallace, Aaron Wallace, from any of the SICW events. He is no longer going to be welcome to any of these events. And after that, I'm going to reinstate Travis Cook, one of the greatest minds in the history of professional wrestling. Oh my gosh. Travis. Oh, jeez.
Herb wants to know why SICW?
Why SICW? Are you joking? Are you kidding me? SICW. Think about SICW.
You got him riled up now, Herb.
Think about it. Think about the history involved. You've got Larry Madison, Sam Mushnick. What they built is what I want. I want the history of St. Louis wrestling. I want to take that history to Riyadh. I want to take that to Saudi Arabia. I want to take it everywhere else where all of my investors are at. I want to take it to them, and I want them to see it firsthand. I want them to experience what we experience, what everybody in St. Louis experiences. Is that such a crime?
All right, calm down, Stevie. You don't want to get the pacemaker going tonight.
Man, blood pressure.
Yeah. All right, let's go into how you recruited your little group, starting with Attila.
With Attila, well, AttilaCon was easy, okay? I told you earlier about one of the greatest minds in professional wrestling, Travis Cook. Mm-hmm. You know, Travis Cook was in a loser leaves town match in SICW against Flash Flanagan. And Flash Flanagan, I don't know how he did it, but he somehow pulled the victory out and sent Travis Cook packing. And it's unfortunate. Well, when Travis Cook got sent packing, Travis needed to find somebody to be able to take the contract that AttilaCon had. Well, me being who I am and having the money that I have, I had been scouting AttilaCon for a number of years. I mean, that guy, 30 years he's been in the business. He's arguably the most dangerous man in the world of professional wrestling. He's an international bounty hunter. Everybody knows AttilaCon. Everybody's afraid of AttilaCon.
He's scary looking for sure.
Why wouldn't I want to be involved with somebody like that? So I went out and I reached out to Travis Cook, and unlike Herb Simmons, Travis Cook followed up with me, and Travis Cook looked at a check that I gave him, looked at some numbers actually, and couldn't believe it. I had a meeting with Travis. I sat down with Travis, and I told him that the numbers were actually, in fact, real, and that we wanted his contract, and he signed the dotted line, and that's how I acquired AttilaCon's contract.
Wow.
Yes, yes. So that starts off with AttilaCon. So next we have Peyton Ayers. Are you familiar with Peyton Ayers?
I'm not. I wish I would have had
You should be, Papa Dank, because that man right there is
I'm here to learn.
Mr. As Seen on TV. Most people don't know it, but he played in some show. In fact, actually, he made the show. It was kind of on a down spiral, like, you know, the ratings were suffering a little bit, and then all of a sudden Peyton Ayers showed up on the programming, and all of a sudden the ratings went through the roof. Have you ever heard of that show called Young Rock?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So when Peyton Ayers showed up on the Young Rock, he played D'Lo Brown of the Nation of Domination. From that moment forward, it was insane. Insane. The ratings just went through the roof, and I have to agree with Peyton that it's because of him.
All right, next in your group.
Oh, next in my group is the Uber Destroyer. Oh my God, I needed a bruiser, somebody that could just do my bidding whenever I needed him to do it. He is the master of the Iron Claw. Everybody has heard about the Iron Claw and all that stuff.
Everyone,
you know, everybody knows that the Iron Claw originated from a man named Baron von Raskin. And when you put that thing on somebody's head, it is devastating. And I saw that man work a couple of shows in Tennessee, and I thought that's a perfect fit for what we're doing up here in St. Louis, and we need to get him up here. And that's all it took was a phone call from Stephen E. to Uber Destroyer, and guess what? He's right there with me at SICW every week.
Okay. And there's one more member, right?
And there's one more member. She made her debut this week. Let me tell you, Papa Dink, how excited I was. Okay, so about 2 months ago, there's a gentleman by the name of Volatile Curtis Wild in SICW. He's the Lion of the Lou. He is a tough son of a gun. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He is tough. Well, he was wrestling the Uber Destroyer, and the Uber Destroyer is a masked wrestler, right? And what did Curtis try to do? Curtis got to a point in the match where he wanted to rip that mask off and expose Uber Destroyer to the world, and I wasn't going to let that happen. So what did I do? I went in there and I threw a fireball in his face. That's right. I threw a fireball in his face, and I blinded him temporarily. And unfortunately, I had it on good authority. My personal PIs told me that Curtis is not going to be there this last Saturday. Curtis wasn't going to be there. He's not going to be there. Don't worry about him. And guess what? I show up and I look at the card and I see Curtis's name on there and I think, no, he's not going to be here. My PI told me that that he's months away from coming back. And guess what? He shows up. He rips his eye patch off to show that he's not hurt anymore. I don't know what the heck he's taking. Maybe we ought to send him through, some testing. So I don't know. But at the end of the day, Wildfire, his manager, his valet, she was a little, how do I say it? I don't like her. She turns around. She mouths me a couple of times. She does something, whatever. I don't care. I'm sick of her crap. I went over and I waved down for the big girl, the big gal. She's 6'6". She is an exotic beauty. She's Attila Khan's daughter, the spawn of Khan. And she is going to be the wrath of Khan. And Wildfire found out personally. She found out last Saturday exactly what Lilith Khan is all about. Oh, and it was a thing of beauty. Oh, it gave me so much pleasure to watch her just choke the life out of Wildfire. And then, of course, Curtis Wild, because it's his wife and she just got choked unconscious. He runs out to check on her, not paying attention to the 10 count, gets disqualified or gets counted out. So we walk away with a victory. You know, it really is simple. The formula is simple. Put me in your corner and we win. That's what happens. And it's no secret, Papa, that I align myself with winners.
Throwing a fireball to someone is kind of illegal, isn't it? Right, Herb?
Well, I don't want to talk about the fireball too much. My attorney has advised me against really speaking on that because of implications that I just don't want to talk about the fireball anymore. The fireball was something that needed to happen. It needed to happen. It needed to show everybody that I was serious. And at the end of the day, Papa Dank, what happened to Curtis Wild is really not Curtis Wild's fault. If I had to put that on anybody, I would put that on one person, and I would put that on Herb Simmons. I would put that fireball on Herb Simmons because at the end of the day, if Herb would sign the contract and let me do what I want to do, things like this wouldn't happen. I've lived my life for a long time doing what I want to do when I want to do it. And I want SICW, and I wanted it 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and I've still not got it. And quite frankly, I'm at my wit's end. I've listened to my investors talk about different ways of negotiating, and I only have one way of negotiating, and that is throwing big numbers out to people and letting that negotiate for itself. And Herb knows the number. He knows the number. If I'm going to talk about the fireball on Gary Jackson, I'm going to talk about the fireball on Big Texan. These guys right here have been the pillars of SICW. They are the pillars. And is it any surprise that the pillars of SICW are getting taken down one by one with a fireball from me? Herb Simmons, sign the check. Once you sign that check, then all that violence, then all of that stops. You know what I'm called in SICW? They call me the merchant of violence. They do. They call me the merchant of violence because I will do just about anything to win.
I don't think throwing fireballs at people is the way for you to win, Stephen.
Well, I tell you what, for the last 2 months, Curtis Wild has been on the shelf. I've not had to look at him. I've not had to deal with him. I've not had to see him in the locker room, any of that stuff. I'd say it's a win.
So, like Herb said, what about Ron Powers and Danny Boy?
For the last 8 months, I have been forced to watch SICW All Star Wrestling and listen to Danny Boy and Ron Powers run my name into the dirt. They don't respect me. They don't like me. And guess what, guys? I don't like you guys. I think you guys are bums. I think that you guys need to mind your business and stay out of my business. Ron Powers, you know who Attila Khan is. You've been in the ring with Attila Khan. Why in the world would you want to step foot back in the ring with him? It doesn't make sense to me. And Danny Boy, you put your hands on me a couple of times in the past, and quite frankly, don't ever do that again. If you do that again, I'll contact my attorneys, and my attorneys will have a field day with you.
Novell says you need to go. Those are Legend Pro Wrestling. How dare you disrespect them, says AJ.
Disrespect them? I'll disrespect anybody who I want, especially you, AJ. Don't you come at me with that, disrespecting them legends. How do you know that those legends haven't called me and asked me about sending them some money or sending them some type of a contract, and they want to be a part of it? Everybody wants to be a part of Devastation Inc. Everybody does. You know, it doesn't matter what everybody wants. The fact of the matter is that the people that are in Devastation Incorporated right now are there for a reason, because they are the best of the best and they do what I tell them to do. And that's the great thing about Lilith. Lilith is one of those people, you know, I don't ask her to do anything. I don't tell her to do anything. She doesn't even listen to me. Papa, she doesn't even listen to me. You know what she does?
What?
She obeys me.
Wow.
She obeys me. And she's a good woman. She has got her face covered like everyone in the Middle East, all the women in the Middle East. That is a respectable woman right there. You know, you want to contort to the Western civilization and you want to walk around with your face uncovered, this, that, and the other. You want to be disrespectful? No. Disrespect me now with her standing behind me. Whether you're a male or a female, I have somebody on my left and on my right that will make sure to take care of business.
Wow. If you could recruit anybody into your stable, who would you recruit and why? In the independent scene.
Oh man, who would I bring? I tell you what, there's one guy. There's one guy right now that I and I don't know if I should say it. I don't know if I should say who it is. But if there's anybody out there that I'm looking at that I take a little bit closer of a look when I see them go out to wrestle, gosh, probably going to be Jason Breed. That guy right there. If I could get my hands on him, I would be able to mold him into something that would just ascend him to the next level. But instead, he wants to listen to the fans. He wants to listen to Herb. He wants to listen to everybody else. He can go ahead and get stuck in that purgatory that he calls, whatever. You know, it's ridiculous. I don't know. You know, there used to be a phrase that went around that when you said it, people would listen. And I don't know if it's the economy. I don't know if it's the platform that we're on nowadays. But it used to be money talks and BS walks. Nowadays, money does still talk. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, it doesn't. I just don't understand. I don't understand why somebody would turn down cold cash, hard cold cash. I mean, greenbacks, and a lot of them. I don't know why they would turn that down just to slap hands with the fans, just to sign a few autographs, just to sell a couple of T-shirts. It doesn't make any sense to me, man. I'd rather just take the money and go down to the Bahamas.
Okay, Novell says that right. Nobody like you need to go back to where you came from and stop shopping at the Goodwill.
Yeah. All right. You know, a lot of people question my attire when I'm at SICW. I wear what they call it's an Arabic men's apparel is what it is. It's in the Western world, it might be perceived as a dress. It is not a dress. It's ridiculous that people over here look at it and they laugh and they think, oh, ha, 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 we're going to share a laugh at his expense. No, that right there is culture. And the Middle Eastern culture is here in America, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it. And there's nothing that Noble can do about it. There's nothing that AJ can do about it. Nothing that anybody can do about it. You say your people. Are you kidding me?
Interesting. All right. AJ says we call that a burqa.
A hijab, yeah.
All right. Let's get out of all this for a moment. Let's talk about FanFest 2, man. Make sure everybody who's in the area, get your tickets now, because on May 17th, we got Bill Apter's one-man show, which should be amazing, just saying. May 18th would be FanFest 2 itself, followed by the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, where Cowboy Bob Orton will be inducted, and then live wrestling action, including the Rumble for that Bruiser Brody Cup, man.
Oh, man.
Make sure you go to SICW.org to get your tickets. Come by and say hello to all the stars of SICW who will be there, as well as all the legends who are going to be there, including, of course, Cowboy Bob Orton, but Teddy Long, you got Tito Santana, Abdullah Butcher, Sergeant Slaughter, Jimmy Hart, Miss Barbara Goodish will be there, Tugboat, and many, many more.
Absolutely.
Including Stephen E. Stephen E. will be there too.
And I personally can't wait for FanFest because I get to rub elbows and shake hands with one of the greatest managers in Texas, Nigel Rabbit. That man right there is a wealth of knowledge. If you don't know who he is, you need to look him up. The guy is brilliant.
Bob Orton and his entire family. His entire family. We'll just leave it at that. Stephen E., what are you most excited about besides hobnobbing with the stars over there?
Well, I don't think that's a question that you should be asking me. I think that's a question you should be asking people like Aaron Wallace, because when Aaron Wallace, when he shows up at 10 a.m. on that Saturday, he's going to be right there at our table asking for autographs and this, that, and the other.
Mrs. Simmons is lashing out at you, bud. Watch out what you say about my husband. She might RKO you out of nowhere.
I don't know if she was there Saturday night when Lilith Khan made her debut, but it's people like her who are going to run their mouths to me and not expect me to do anything. Well, guess what? I just leveled the playing field. I've got Lilith Khan behind me, and she's not going to stand for anybody. She obeys everything that I tell her. I tell her to jump, and she looks at me and she says, "How high?"
Novell says no one's even going to talk to you.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see.
Yikes. Lots of stuff happening at FanFest 2, man. But before we go and we talk about more FanFest 2, what does Stephen E. like to do to relax? That's what everybody wants to know.
I like to sit on the beach. I like to go down to the Caribbean. In fact, I'll be down at the Caribbean in August and doing that thing. I love to travel. I love to travel.
Yikes. The Simmons family's coming after you, bud.
They think that I'm disrespectful to women. Papa, let me explain something to you. 1920, they enacted the 19th Amendment. Are you familiar with what the 19th Amendment is?
A little bit. But go ahead. Tell the audience.
Let me just open that door a little bit. Let me enlighten you. The 19th Amendment is the women's right to vote, right?
Yes.
That is the downfall of this country.
Whoa.
It is. It's the downfall. When we started letting women vote in this country, that's when it started to go to hell. I mean, think about it.
That is a terrible statement to say. Terrible.
They vote with emotion. They don't vote off of facts. They vote with emotion. And that's just the bottom line. Lilith is not like an American.
That is terrible.
Lilith is very obedient. She obeys me. She doesn't question me. If I tell her to walk 5 feet from behind me, guess what she does? She walks 5 feet behind me. Somebody tried to ask her a question the other day.
That's not how it works in America, Stephen.
Hey, it doesn't matter how it works in America. Lilith Khan belongs to me, and that's a fact. But here's the thing. Somebody tried to say something to her. Somebody tried to pass a book for her to give an autograph. You know how disrespectful that was for me to sit there and watch another man try to give Lilith Khan a book to sign her name? She does not sign, and she will not sign. It's absolutely disrespectful. Do not approach her whenever she is in my presence. It's a respect thing.
I think you are way out of line with that comment about women.
No, I'm not.
You're trying to bring the country back. We're trying to move forward, not go backwards, right?
As soon as we amend the 19th Amendment, as soon as we can get that taken care of, then we will be back on track. We will be back on track.
Wow. Hold on a second. You just said it's so Disrespectful to assault fans like that. Steven, that is like the most craziest comment I've ever had someone say on this podcast. And I've had a lot of things happen here.
Well, congratulations to you, Papa Dank. Congratulations. I'm sure the ratings are going to go through the roof. It's ridiculous. You know, all I'm doing is saying what everybody thinks. Everybody thinks that. They just don't want to say it. Am I right?
No, you're not right.
Oh. Well, I tell you what, Lilith Khan thinks that I'm right. Attila Khan thinks that I'm right. Uber Destroyer thinks that I'm right. And Peyton Ayers thinks that I'm right. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says.
Well, everybody is not on your side tonight, Steven, with those comments. So I think you should sit back before FanFest and think about what you said.
No, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit back.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to make plans for once we have that Bruiser Brody Memorial Cup in our possession, what we're going to do with it. I'm making plans for the party that we're going to throw that night. Once we win that coveted trophy, what we're going to do with it. Who knows? I mean, do you realize how much history is involved into that trophy? There's a lot of history involved in that trophy. We may just take it and throw it away. Who knows?
What?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know what we're going to do.
How dare you, Steven? How dare you? That is so insulting.
Well, I tell you what, Papa, don't disrespect me. Nobody disrespects Devastation Incorporated. If they do disrespect us, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to knock them on their ass.
Wow. Oh, man, the comments are going up. Don't disrespect the Bruiser Memorial Trophy. I agree. You will never get your hands on that cup. Wow. I just don't even know what to say to you, Steven, anymore. I thought this was going to be a great, fun interview, and it's turned into controversy.
Has it not?
Controversy.
Has it not been a great interview? I think it personally has been a great interview.
I think disrespecting women is not a great interview. Not at all. I have many friends that are in the wrestling business that are females and thriving.
And you should send them my way because I'll put them under a contract with Devastation Incorporated, cover their face just like it should be, and they can walk 5 feet behind me and walk to the ring with me. How about that, Papa?
Oh my God! All right, Steven, let's cut this short. Let everybody know where they can follow you.
It's easy. Everybody can follow me at SICW Explosion All-Star Wrestling every Sunday night at 8 p.m. You can catch me on Friday nights on KSN out of Joplin, Missouri with Mid-States Wrestling. You can catch me on Facebook at Stephen E. And the other ones don't really even matter. You see the gray in the beard. Those other platforms don't matter. The only one that matters to me right now is Facebook. And to be quite honest, you'd be wasting your time if you went to the real Stephen E at X and the real Stephen E at Instagram and all that stuff. But either way, find me on Facebook. Go to SICW Explosion, and you'll see me commenting all the time on there. And yeah. Come to the Fan Fest. If you're anywhere near the St. Louis area, on May 17th, come watch the Bill Apter one man show.
That week you're Creole.
It's going to be great. On the 18th, we're going to be at the Aviator Hotel and Suites. Man, that's going to be something else. And then a couple of weeks later, June 1st, we're going to be at the Technology Speed Raceway, I believe is what it is, for a huge event for SICW at the NASCAR racetrack there in St. Louis. So, you're going to be able to see me. And if you're in the Midwest, I don't take very many weekends off. I'm either in Tulsa, Arkansas, Springfield, Missouri, St. Joseph, Missouri. All over. I'm just about everywhere in the Midwest. So, just.
All right, go ahead, Steven. Finish.
My blood pressure.
Oh, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done. All right.
Noble, when I see you at the next SSCW event, I'm going to have some words for you, and they're not going to be good. And Herb, I want to sit down with you, and I want to talk about the future of SICW and where we're going with this, because I know 52 years you've been promoting, Herb. 52 years you've been promoting SICW and professional wrestling. It's about time to take a break. Go sit on the beach somewhere. Go take go take that lovely wife of yours and sit down on a beach and give her everything that she's ever wanted.
All right, Steven.
I don't understand.
I think you had enough. We had enough tonight. All right, SICW presents FanFest in St. Louis. Not only will all these great legends will be there, including Bob Orton's being inducted to that Hall of Fame, but I, Papa Dank, will be there as well, hanging out, doing my thing, doing the Papa Dank thing, and saying hello to everybody there. Yeah, I see what you're up against, Herb. I see it. All right, so make sure you get your tickets at sicw.org for that, where I will be shooting the premiere episode of Papa Dank Vlogs, coming out from the ashes of vlog interaction, as I am hanging out with Kai McKenna, who is the new Victory Pro Wrestling Women's Champion, and who is not covered at all in her face, which is how it should be. Just saying.
Herb, if you're still on, do me a favor. Call me sometime this week so we can go ahead and hammer out some details. Don't listen to any of the people who are in your ear trying to tell you not to do this. At the end of the day, it's a good decision. It is the right decision, and you're going to make a lot of people happy if you sign on that dotted line. Thank you very much, Mr. Simmons, and I look forward to taking your phone call and having to sit down and talking with you.
All right, let me finish first. All right, I come back here on Wednesday with Luke Justice from MCW. Some people may know him at SICW. Luke Justice, followed by Jeff Noyes and SB Anderson for Titan Championship Wrestling, which, by the way, this Saturday is their episode Rise of the Titans, filming live, and also will be on the Premier Wrestling Network. So make sure you go to Titan Championship Wrestling to get your tickets, as the Wrecking Ball Legursky from the NWA will be there. Tiffany Avatar, the Cotton Candy Princess versus Amity LaVey for that Goddesses Championship, and just announced PJ Savage putting up both of his titles up against Joey Conway. Now that rivalry is spread through many promotions, and another chapter of it continues at Titan Championship Wrestling's Rise of the Titans. Make sure you follow them on YouTube, as you can catch the Papa Dank commercial there, as well as the Papa Dank commercial will be seen with SICW Wrestling on their YouTube channel. And all my graphics are provided by Pickway Design. Make sure you see them. They are my official sponsor, and they also do websites and all that. I have worked with the Long Island Islanders, Steven.
Who's that?
Never mind. Herb says, bye, Felicia.
Is that an NBA team from New York or something?
No. Everybody, I don't think you get to talk to them. Everybody have a good night. Steven, stand